Welcome back to another episode of the Big DK Energy Podcast. My name is Danny K, or the DK in the Big DK Energy. And the other day, I was watching a basketball game, and a guy was fouled for traveling. And speaking of traveling, that's today's topic. Raised in Louisiana, but living in Florida for a majority of her life, this small-time actress, who's been on shows such as Chicago Fire, is now creating her own travel podcast due to the travels that she's done in her very short life. And so, being a fellow podcaster and actually being a friend of mine, I decided to have her on the show. And so, without further ado, please help me in welcoming today's guest, Ms. Connor Ann Waterman.
Hello. I love that intro.
Oh, good. I would hope so.
In her very short life.
Yeah. Well, compared to others, shorter.
No, it's, 26 years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm turning 28 at the end of the month, so you're younger than me. So, yeah.
Yes, it's almost your B-Day.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for your B-Day?
That's a great question. I'm going to be in Tampa for the USF-UCF game.
Love it.
And then I'm going to come back to Orlando and just do something local. And so that's what happens when I travel around. But speaking of traveling around, that's the whole point of your podcast. Isn't that right?
It is. So I started a podcast called Travelnerds.
Excellent.
As of like a month ago.
Nice. Well, welcome to the journey. It's a hectic one, but it's rewarding.
It's a journey. I mean, it's hard. So many people start podcasts. It's just there's so much to learn. There's so much to it. And also, if you don't, promote yourself, you're just doing yourself a disservice. And I think that's the hardest part for me. It's just I'm editing my own videos and trying to just sound like a normal person. That's kind of hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you have to do it in front of something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always tell some people when they get really nervous, it's like pretend we have a conversation. It's just that there's cameras and that doesn't really help.
Do you put your podcast game face on? Or is it this is just like Danny all the time. This is just who I am.
This is just who I am. Just maybe a little less cursing, but yeah.
Is that okay on the show?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay.
You know.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, indeed. So anyway, Connor, when was your first traveling experience that you can remember?
Good question. So my parents, they were the kind of parents that didn't allow their lives being on hold just because they had kids. Meaning two things. Sometimes they would plan baller trips and we would be able to come along. And more often than not, they would hire two separate awesome babysitters that would come babysit my brother and I while they went on these corporate trips for my dad's business. So I feel like that needs to be an episode on my podcast, how to travel as a parent, how to have a full life of travel as a parent.
Absolutely, because it's already enough to book your own ticket and everything, but then you got to do it for someone smaller than you, and then you got to bring the car seat, and then and then they have to bring the stroller into the airport.
I was that baby on flights that would just be sobbing and freaking out and screaming the whole time.
Me too.
So that's when they started leaving me at home. But I love that they just traveled the entire world before they got married and then also after when they had us. So I'm excited for this pod because I think my first trip ever was 3 months old.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and my earliest trip I can truly remember is to Mexico, and I kind of weirdly booked it at the ripe age of 10.
Really? Just by yourself?
Yeah, my dad was like, should we go anywhere for Christmas or should we just stick around? And I was like, I want to go somewhere. And I just kind of looked it up on the internet and was like, we're going to Cancun for Christmas.
Okay. Mexico's a great time.
It is such a good time. That was actually the first time I ever had an alcoholic beverage on accident.
On accident.
There
we go.
I was 10. I could not stop going up to the pool bar and being like, can I have a pina colada? And obviously thought they were giving me virgin pina coladas. And then about 2 hours later, my brother's like, what the hell is wrong with you? And
Yeah.
I've just had 3 pina coladas as a 10, 11-year-old.
A lot of spiked milk. Nah,
Yeah.
There were other things in it too.
Mexico, man. Mexican bartenders.
Well,
they're like, yeah, we should just give her a stiff one. I'm like,
what? Everyone's here to have a party, so why not? Everyone's here to fiesta.
yeah, it was a fun trip.
I bet. So you've definitely traveled up until this point, which I'm sure has given you a lot of content for these upcoming episodes of yours. And so tell me, growing up, what were some other major trips that you've been on?
Well, I kind of grew up in the summers going to Iowa. I know that's not a major trip, but that
How's the corn there?
Oh, it's tons of cone.
Tons of cone?
It's cone. But it was like cool to be able to split life up a little bit. I knew when summer was starting and I was a kid, we're freaking going to Iowa for like a month. And we stay with my grandparents on a farm, and they don't have like animals anymore. But growing up, they did. I just love change. And I love when I'm kind of clueless in a new spot. And that's why I love to travel. Honestly, like figuring things out by myself is really fun.
And I think that's awesome that you do that independently. I will ask this though. Do you ever feel scared whenever you go on trips by yourself?
I never have, knock on wood, because I've never, ever been in a situation where I felt like unsafe. I like to think that's because I don't put myself in those situations, but we don't really live in a world where I can say that anymore. It's like no matter where the hell you are, like something, you got to just be alert. But like I was just in Chicago like 2 days ago. It's like my favorite big city in America. Oh, God, it's great.
It's funny because another guest that I had on the show who was on for traveling, her favorite city was Chicago as well.
Yeah, you can do anything you want any day of the week. And people are generally nicer than I think most big cities, like Miami, New York, LA are a little sassy.
Oh, New York and Miami especially.
Yeah.
And plus, deep dish pizza is dank.
Oh, God, so dank. All the food there is so good.
It is. Bad thing is that I have bad GERD or whatever you call it. And so, like, I can't have any of that food because it'll just act up. And I'm like, I just want to enjoy my life again.
Oh, no. That's a curse. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Dad. But anyway, speaking of food from other places, what are some of your favorite cuisines outside of this country?
Oh, well, I'm going to say Australia. And that's not because there's like an Australian local cuisine.
I was going to say, don't you dare tell me it's Vegemite.
Oh, God. Ugh. I did try it and I did hate it. It was terrible. I hated every second of it.
So what other food in Australia do they have that makes things worth it?
Yeah, so I lived in like an area called Redfern, and you could just like basically walk half a mile around my spot and you could find a Turkish restaurant where they're like cutting lamb off a giant spigot and making like
shawarma?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Shawarma. They had a lot of like Southeast Asian food, just like cultural influences that I didn't get in Louisiana or Florida or Minnesota growing up.
Oh, so, Minnesota especially, yeah.
Yeah, especially. A lot of chains up there in Minnesota.
Oh, absolutely, and a lot of beer.
Tons of beer.
Well, what else do you got to do when you're snowed in?
It's freezing.
You know what? I like the cold. Having grown up here, it's like, yeah, I quote unquote get used to the sweat, but not really because sweat's kind of gross. I understand it's to regulate your body temperature, but still.
Science.
Yeah. Science. And the science of airplanes, lifting off the ground. It's interesting to think about.
Oh, it most certainly is.
Do you ever feel scared when you go on the flight, especially when there's like a little bit of a rocky ending?
Not in the turbulence sense, that doesn't scare me. But when we land and like there's just 3 feet between the plane wheels and the ground, I always just dig my feet into the ground as hard as I can.
Which is weird because honestly, that won't really stop anything, but we still do what we can.
That doesn't help? Oh, shit.
Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. My bad.
I should stop doing that. I don't know. I've always done that. Ridiculous.
It's okay. Listen, as long as you don't bring an e-cig into the bathroom and set off the smoke detector, you're fine.
I would never. But yeah, I just see like we're almost about to touch the tarmac and I'm just like, brace yourselves. I freak out. I can't. It really freaks me out.
Oh, it's all right though, because actually I've been on a few flights this year already, and so like it's been like 2 years since I've been on a flight, and so the past years I've been totally broke, so I'm like only staying in Florida. Yeah.
Oh, we got to take you somewhere.
Listen, I'd love to do like an episode where this whole setup is mobile, so literally I even did a podcast on the beach. So
what? Where?
Cape Canaveral.
No way. How did that sound?
It actually sounded pretty well.
It's not like.
Surprisingly, no, because the mics are close to our face.
True.
Whereas if it was like this, you can't hear it as much.
Right.
See the difference?
Do you see it?
Well, yeah, whatever it is. But anyway, and I don't know why I thought of this, but as I was talking about hot, humid places or like just hot places in general, have you been to any cool desert countries or states?
So the first desert that pops into my mind is the Mojave Desert in Nevada.
Actually, I was born in the Mojave Desert in California. So yeah.
Shut your mouth. Very cool. I went and did a dune buggy experience in Vegas.
Wait, you just recently posted about that, right?
I did. So that was in October.
Mm-hmm.
But I went for a travel conference, and while I was there, I just had to do some cool activities for our like travel channel, for our travel vlog. And it was so cool. I did that. And then a helicopter, and we were going to do like the racing super, super nice Ferraris in the desert situation, but I got scared.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't go 200 miles an hour. I can barely go 100. I mean, not that I do. I don't speed.
Precisely. Yeah, this isn't, what is it? Tokyo Drift?
Ugh, love that movie.
Since my initials are DK, everyone's like, yo, DK, do you know what it stands for? I go, no. Drift King.
Yeah, Drift King. That, honestly, I did know that.
Well, that's because you're cooler than I am.
What's the Steve Aoki's daughter's name? She's in that. She's just so cute.
I forgot. But Steve Aoki's pretty famous.
He's mad famous.
Well, not just... Well, sorry. We all know he's famous, but his dad's also pretty famous, is what I meant to say. His dad was a wrestler and was the founder of Benihana.
No.
Yep. Steve Aoki's dad started Benihana.
I love Benihana.
Well, now you have a fun fact.
That's crazy. If you love a famous person, definitely Google them because their parents are probably famous.
Yeah, or they have something thrown in there that made the actor who they were. And speaking of that, you've done a little acting yourself.
I have done a little. Couple movies, 2-3 TV shows. I'm working on it. I definitely would love to like really book some guest star roles and get it going.
I mean, that's already more than most people have done in their entire acting career. So if anything, I would say you're pretty moving along in the game.
Yes, I like to think so. With all of this like fun travel stuff, I've definitely been slacking on the acting stuff, but hopefully they kind of start to merge. Well, you know what I mean?
True, and I guess you can do like little acting things like, I don't know, in different settings. I mean, you're going to different places.
Exactly.
So what's a country or a state that you've been to besides Chicago, or, you know, that's a city, but what's a repeat place you'd like to go to?
Northern Australia.
Really?
Yeah, like the Great Barrier Reef. Obviously, if you've ever heard anything about it being overrated, because I hear people say that, they're lying. They're so lying.
If anything, I hear it's being overkilled.
Okay, that's true and not true. It got like wildly bleached by global warming, but it's coming back.
Okay.
It's coming back.
Excellent. That's good to know because apparently I heard that most of the photosynthesis in the world goes through the ocean instead of like trees.
It's definitely true. But
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, because of all the phytoplankton and whatnot.
Oh my gosh, that's really cool.
So during your time scuba diving the Great Barrier Reef, what were some of your favorite things that you saw down there?
Well, I barfed the whole way there. They don't tell you that it's like 2 hours from Cairns. So you have to like hop on a little catamaran situation. But you don't have to. That's what we chose, which was a mistake. And that's why I was yakking. But go on like a big, gigantic boat to take you out there. It's faster. I know it seems like less of a like cute experience, but that's the move.
And I bet you need a lot of Dramamine for that, right?
I did not come prepared. Who knew I was seasick? No one ever told me.
Really? Never been on a cruise or anything like that?
I went on a cruise when I was 12, but that was it.
Yeah, you don't remember throwing up then?
I don't remember vomiting then. I think you're more like, you're tougher as a kid.
That seems so true because I wasn't lactose intolerant when I was a kid, but now I can't drink milk without blowing up like a balloon.
Yeah, bubble gut's not good. It's weird how you can like adopt an allergy later in life.
Yeah, it sucks. It would be really unfortunate if it was to like a blueberry or something like that because that's just kind of...
You love blueberries?
I do.
I could tell.
So blueberries are from Canada. Speaking of which, have you ever been?
I have never been. Vancouver's on the list next year, though.
Really? I've never been to Vancouver, but I have been to Victoria, which is right across the lake, and it's beautiful there.
Loved it. Mm-hmm. Did you eat poutine?
I did not, unfortunately. It was just a day. Yeah, I know. It was just for a day on a cruise, so yeah.
Ooh, a cold cruise.
Yeah, it was a 2-week Alaska cruise, and the last day was in Victoria, so...
I hear those are amazing.
It was. In fact, actually, I went to this... I think it was in this one town called Sitka, Alaska, where we were at, like, a little gift shop or anything, and then right in the river next to us, there was a mama moose and her calves.
That's so cute.
Have you ever seen any cool animals during your travels?
I'm thinking cold animals. I've seen an elk in Colorado. Tons of elk just chilling.
Do you see them doing their cool vocalization thing?
No. What does it sound like? You got an impression?
So I don't, unfortunately, but that's because it's actually, I learned, it's 2 sounds at the same time. It's a whistle and a roar.
I would love to try that for you, but I don't even understand that.
And like I heard somewhere that like Tibetan monks, they can like chant in like 2 different tones or something like that at the same time, but I'm not at that level. So,
That's like ventriloquy.
Ventriloquism?
Ventriloquism.
Yes. The
Did
guy.
I just make up that word?
Nah, I understood what you were saying.
I was on the right track.
So traveling, it's just like in your blood, right? And so your parents are big travelers, you're a big traveler. Do you guys still do family trips and whatnot to cool places?
No, my dad really wants to go to Ireland. I think that has to happen eventually. But with this job, I'm going to be doing more traveling than I ever could have possibly imagined or afforded. So I feel really lucky.
So is this a job specifically for traveling?
Yeah, so I work for a travel company called Allfly, and they book like group airfare for corporate trips, like team offsites and stuff. So if like Apple wanted to send 100 people to Cancun to do like a team bonding experience, usually that's what team offsites are for, but other things too, like making headway on quarter goals and stuff like that. But they usually send people to giant cities everyone knows about: Boston, New York, LA. Like those are the kind of places that I've been reviewing. But next year we're going to do international stuff. So I basically just get sent out to a city that they're looking into sending clients to and try and find cool activities and hotels and restaurants for them to enjoy while they're there on their business trip.
That's freaking awesome. Wow.
It's freaking awesome. I'm freaking out. I just started working for them recently, so this is new, and it kind of like fell in my lap. I feel really lucky.
And so was this podcast always something that's been in the back of your mind, or has it just been like culminating as of like recently?
So I never shut up. I think podcasting is awesome, and it's just that. It's like having conversations with people and feeling comfy talking a lot. So I think it's going well so far, but I never thought about doing one. With that being said, I don't know. It was never like a thought that crossed my mind. And then the way that I was approached about this job was like, would you like to host a podcast? I was like, sure, yes. And then the rest of it kind of like came along with it. He's like, you'll be doing X, Y, and Z also. But like creative director, like on the marketing team, just trying to make a bunch of content and have our SEO go up on Google.
You got this. You totally got this.
I think I do.
Especially with how much traveling you've done. And like, I love the little clips that you post of like stuff that's going on in the world that just pique your fancy. You said that the world's longest flight isn't straight.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny. I was like reading all the comments. They're like, I don't get it. Everyone never went to school. But yeah, it was saying that from LA to Singapore is the longest flight in the world. And then it showed the route, and it's curved because the world is curved.
Sorry, Kyrie.
Yeah, the shortest distance between 2 points in an airplane is not a straight line. So I just had to make that. I thought it was hilarious.
That's so interesting to think about, because when I'm watching the plane tracker getting from my airport to the next destination, I just kind of am thinking, man, there's a bunch of land going right below us and we're just kind of watching the screen.
And in that specific flight, they do try and take a water route in general just to make sure that it's safer. Like safer for like emergency landing purposes.
I mean, regardless, crashes are going to suck, but I can see how water would be more favorable than land.
Definitely. Like the middle of Europe versus the ocean.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially since the middle of Europe is like all mountain anyway.
Mm-hmm. Highly populated, most places.
Oh, that's even worse.
I'm doing like a European tour this summer, so I'll have to come back and tell you all about that.
Absolutely. And is it through a company or is it just by yourself?
It's through the company, so I think like Dubrovnik, Amsterdam, London, Dublin, and like 3 other places I can't remember.
Have you ever been to Europe before?
I've been to Amsterdam and I've been to Italy.
Okay.
But that's it. There's so much, and like you can say you've been to Italy, but I've been to 4 cities in Italy. Like there's so much to do, and there's so many different regions, and they're all so different.
I was going to say, are the cities really different from each other?
I'd say yeah. I mean, I went to Rome, Milan, Lake Como, and Modena. And those were all, Modena's like where they make balsamic vinegar.
Oh.
So I went to like a distillery, and they were literally, we were all starving. We were about to go get dinner, and they literally gave us like a shot glass filled with vinegar. They're like, you should try it. It's been in this barrel for 600 years. You're going to love it. And we're like, do you have any bread or like
something to put it in?
Water. But yeah, they are all very different. Like Milan is very like bougie, high fashion.
Well, of course, yeah, for the fashion scene.
Rome was like hectic as shit. I know that that's how people describe it already, but I couldn't have prepared myself. Like you're in a taxi, like freaking out.
Do they drive really fast or something like that?
Yes, so fast and like an inch apart from each other with straight confidence.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. And the best part is, like, they have to drive with, like, their legs because they have to talk with their hands.
Yeah, move over. They're driving with their knees.
Signore.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I was in the back, like, trying to make sure I was going to make it.
Got it. So what's a place that you must go to before you die?
Can I have 3?
Yes.
The Maldives. So high on my list. And it's so close to India, which would be a cool little, like, side trip. But, I mean, the pictures of, like, the tiki huts in the water, come on.
It looks pristine until a typhoon comes around.
I gotta go at weak, not peak, typhoon season. Which is what? Who knows?
That's a great question. I mean, the thing is that we're Floridians, so we understand hurricane season, but...
Hectic.
Yeah. Like, I always thought about the Maldives and, like, Bora Bora, like, those are the ideal getaways for romance and all that other stuff.
Gorgeous.
I'm thinking, one typhoon, gone. Gone.
That's your first thought.
Well, yeah,
They're gonna get creamed.
Well, because Mother Nature, as powerful as she is, she can sometimes be a bitch.
She's a huge bitch, especially in Florida recently. What the F is she up to? I don't get it. Second place, Budapest.
Budapest, Hungary,
which
okay.
might actually be on the list this summer. That would be really cool.
Look at that.
Yeah. So we'll see. And then the third one, New Zealand, because I lived in Australia and I hate myself for not going to New Zealand.
I was going to say, it's right there.
2 hours away. It's like, I'm so disappointed that I was that close. But I am going to Australia for New Year's, so I don't know.
Okay, well, that's pretty nice.
Maybe I should just like...
take a little side trip.
But like, money doesn't grow on trees. Like, who do I think I am? I would love to take casual side trips constantly, but I'm also like trying to figure out... how
I feel that.
Have the travel experience I want without going bankrupt.
That's easily the goal because there are some experiences out there that are pretty cool that can get kind of pricey. Like, I know that somewhere around here there's a tank driving experience and it's at least a couple grand just to participate.
In Orlando?
Yeah. Not in this specific area, but like, somewhere in the Kissimmee area.
I gotta look that up.
It's called Tanks America.
Tanks America. I love it. Let's look into that.
Yeah.
Should we do that for your birthday?
We'll see. I don't know if I can drop $2,000 for my birthday.
We're just driving tanks. We cannot pregame.
Oh, no. No. See, I also work for a gun range, and yeah, they like to drink a beer, but they're also very serious when it comes to firearms in terms of, like, not being an idiot around them.
Oh my gosh. You work for a gun range?
Yeah, I run their social media.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's different. And we get a whole bunch of tourists from all over the world coming in, especially from Britain and like Brazil, because people are not allowed to own firearms over there. So they come here to at least try it out.
Oh, God. They're like, Florida's fun as fuck. They're like, just AK-47.
Yeah.
Probably not that.
Actually, yes, we do have the AK-47. Stop. I have a video of me shooting it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'll show you.
We just let tourists, like, grab a hold of those babies?
Well, of course we have people on staff who are, like, trained to do that, and they're all ex-military, so they know that stuff.
But, like, me, a mere simpleton, could just walk in and
easily
shoot. Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be good at it.
I think you should.
There's, like, a target and everything. There's, like, a person with, like, circles on it.
Yeah.
All right. I mean...
we'll give it a shot.
Let's try.
Literally.
Oh, that was good.
Thanks. It was force of habit at that point. It was a reflex. But anyway, the cameras are about to cut off, so I'm just going to cut it, and then we'll go into the next section. So yeah, we get tourists from all over the world. But speaking of that, we're going back to the traveling.
Ah, yes.
So I know you have a few guests coming up on your show. So on your first episode, who did you have on the show?
First episode was just us, like, absolutely rambling. It was, like, me and the other people in the marketing department, and we just ran through some travel news. And I listened back to it, and I'm like, okay, I'm using my AirPods. It sounds like trash, but it was so fun, and, like, we're just learning as we go. Second one sounded way better. Third one we're going to put out tomorrow sounds way better. It's a learning curve.
It absolutely is. And then one time I had another podcaster from the area. He hosts with his two friends, and it's called Nah Dude. And so he gave me some pointers, especially about like how to market stuff. For example, even though that these cameras shoot widescreen, if you edit your reels vertically, the algorithm likes that better. So that's why it'll get more views. And then also, I've been lazy, so that's why it hasn't been done yet. But soundproofing, I have to put them on a backboard so that the pockets of air that are going through them don't attract the sound.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and so, it's just little stuff like that you find out along the way. But then also what I do is that I'm in, like, Facebook groups for podcasters. So, they give tips on, like, monetizing, about names, ideas. Sometimes people will get together to be like, hey, does anyone want to be a guest on my show kind of thing.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to grow my community, my podcasting network.
Well, now you're part of mine, so I will help you grow yours. It's, we're all trying here in Central Florida.
I think it's cool, podcasting too. It's like anyone can start a podcast from literally anywhere. It's not like a competition, like when you're an artist and someone else is putting out a new song too. Like it's competitive in a way, and like acting can be like that. I feel like podcasting isn't like that.
True, especially since actually recently I learned that the Earth just hit over 8 billion people.
What?
Yeah, we've hit over the 8 billion mark now.
Which country has the most people?
I think that's the fact that China and India account for like 2/8 of that population easily.
How amazing is that?
It's nuts.
That's crazy.
And I heard a weird fun fact that I don't know if it's everybody in the country or everybody in the world can fit in the state of Texas.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Texas is actually way bigger than you think.
Everyone in this country could fit into Texas.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I believe that.
But I heard somewhere like everyone in the world, I'm thinking, really?
No.
I mean, of course, everyone would be living in like a Kowloon Wall City kind of situation, obviously, but it's like, I think it's possible.
Should we try it?
Nah.
Sounds like too much work.
Yeah, especially. And then you got to get everybody together. Then you got to make them pay rent. And then it's just a whole nightmare.
I don't want to go to Texas.
You've never been?
No, I love Texas. I have been many a time. And there's so many places to go.
True. And plus, I've made the drive through Louisiana to Texas. And it's like 3-hour drive, maybe?
Yeah, no, it's not bad. It's pretty close. Like from where I used to live, Baton Rouge to Houston's like 4 hours. So you can definitely
Okay, I drove from Lafayette.
Yeah, there you go. What were you doing there?
Oh, it was the stopping point from driving to Texas back to Florida.
Ah, yes. You should have stopped somewhere more fun.
Nah, I've already driven from Dallas that day, and it was a schlep.
Did you eat anything good?
Not really. I just ate like a local chain that apparently was started in Louisiana. It's like
Cane's?
No, Raising Cane's is fire though.
Oh God, it's freaking good. There's one here.
Actually?
Yeah. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Because the other day I was like, damn, if there's one thing I miss about Dallas, it's the food, because Raising Cane's was dank, but then also I miss Whataburger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Honey chicken biscuit? Please.
Now that I think about it, the food here in America is way more processed. So when you've traveled abroad, like, did they have their own version of fast food that you liked?
I think even their version of fast food is nowhere near how McDonald's makes you feel.
Well, that's good.
Like, I can't think of anywhere that I've been that has sadder fast food than America. Obviously, they have less fast food, right? Like, we are the leading country for fast food chains.
And obesity. Any coincidence?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. Because I do eat Taco Bell, and it does make me feel that way.
Yeah. It's like, I crave McDonald's, but at the same time, when I eat it, I just am like...
You do? What do you crave?
A Big Mac.
Stop. That's your thing? Their signature thing is your thing? I'm sorry.
Hey, to each their own. So I'm standing over here in my corner. Big Mac is...
Hey, I'll McDonald's it up. I'm like Oreo McFlurry with French fries, and then you gotta dip the
French fries
in the...
Yeah.
You get it.
Of course. Everybody gets it.
Duh.
Well... Maybe everybody in America does, because actually one time I was in Israel and I went to the McDonald's there, and like they had a burger that was as big as your face, and they called it the American.
Love that. Accurate. Did you love Israel?
I did actually have a good time there. I mean, I was going into high school, so it wasn't like birthright, but I was thinking about it. My friend, he literally just went to Germany for the Seahawks and Tampa Bay game. It's sure every place has a tree. Sure, every place has a river. Sure, every place has grass. But at the same time, I feel like different countries in different states have different looks. It's like, I agree with that. It's just that, by thinking, oh, this is just a building, what's the significance of it? But then I feel like that kind of takes away from the awe-inspiredness of traveling.
Yeah, you just gotta go all open-minded. Just let it all hit you at once.
So when you're preparing for a trip, how do you prepare for this open-mindedness?
I mean, I'm kind of one of those people that, like, I have, like, distance anxiety. That's the wrong way to describe it. But I feel like I always need to go on a trip. It just makes me feel like myself when I kind of get away for a second. And it doesn't have to be alone. Like, I can go on trips with my friends, and, like, I get the same, fuck yeah, I'm alive feeling.
You got your rush.
Totally, yeah.
You shot up, but, you shot up with life.
Yeah, shot up with life. I'm a travel addict.
Yeah, there we go.
But it's, like, truly not that hard to just hop online. Oh, it's only $75 round trip to Denver, Colorado this weekend.
Well, that's the spirit.
That is the spirit. I flew in on Spirit yesterday. I get it. Obviously, I can hop on a different airline and have a better experience, but come on, you can't beat like
as long as I make it there one piece.
$80 round trip flight. Are you kidding me? All I'm doing the whole time is watching White Lotus on my phone anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
So good.
Like I said, as long as you're there in one piece, it did its job.
Right. Am I frazzled as shit when I get off one of those planes? Yeah, for sure. But that's okay. I don't like advertising that I fly Spirit, but I do.
I mean, listen, you got to go where you got to go.
The deals are just too good sometimes. Can't dodge them.
I remember one time I did for the UCF versus Michigan game. It was like $95 round trip tickets, and we were all just like, broke college kids. You can't
beat it.
And we all just took a huge trip up to Michigan to go support us. I mean, granted, we got murdered that game, but it was the experience.
And there are ways to take trips where you don't spend $1 billion. Like, I just went to Chicago. I know Chicago's an expensive city, but I was there for 2 days. Like, you can budget food, and we didn't really do any like expensive activities. Like, we went to a antique market that I forced my friend to go to, but it's like $10 per person. It's like there's ways to take a trip and not spend $1 billion for sure.
Okay, so what are some of your other, not frugal, but what are some of your money conscious traveling tips, I guess would be it?
Yeah, bring a water bottle into the airport, empty it out, and then fill it up when you get in there. You don't spend $12 on a water bottle when you get in there. Boom. Or I feel like a really good one is checking Skyscanner. This is not an ad. I really love using skyscanner.com and then like just typing in wherever you want to go. And they have an option that says like flexible. And this is the same with Airbnb. You can type in like I'm flexible and it'll just show you stays or dates or places that are like really randomly cheap.
This is a 3-day bungalow in the middle of the desert. How do you feel?
I'll do it.
Why not? Yeah.
For the pod.
There we go. Are there any skinwalkers around? No, I think they cleared them out just last week.
They left recently.
Have you ever heard about the skinwalkers?
Oh, tell me.
So the skinwalkers is actually apparently not even allowed to say that, but it's a southwestern Native American story about a malevolent shaman or witch that is able to change into different animals, and they are supposed to be like heavily, heavily cursed.
I've seen something on Discovery Channel or something about
I thought you were about to say like
life.
Yeah, like you saw a deer stand on 2 legs or something.
Fuck no. I would have passed away in that moment. Absolutely not.
Oh, speaking of passing away and what I was about to say, have you ever been in Hawaii?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you ever heard of the night marchers or the night walkers is what they're called.
Stop. What is it?
So I forgot on which island, but there's this gathering of ancient Hawaiian warrior ghosts. And they're supposed to like march from like one end of the island to another. And apparently if you get in their path and they notice that you're not of Native Hawaiian descent, they take your soul into the underworld with them.
That's super rude. Just in the middle of the night?
Yeah. So apparently how to like best your chances is to like lie down on the floor facing down.
This feels like something someone tells you as a prank, and then they're just videoing you, like, face down on the ground. Like,
I can see the Native Hawaiians doing that for revenge for tourism. But then again, everybody knows that story. So
I never saw any ancient ghost warriors the whole time I was there.
Well, consider yourself lucky.
Thank God.
Yeah. Or whatever god that they believe in.
Right.
You would have been at their mercy. Speaking of, stories like this, what's one thing about another culture that makes you just like, wow, I love traveling and finding out about this?
Well, culture I would love to experience. I love Thai food.
Okay.
And I've heard that Thai people are just like so kind and sweet and like welcoming and want you to love it. So I would love to experience that, honestly. And then places I have been, I thought the Italian people were very charming. They're just as like sassy as you've heard and super sweet.
Like in the Lizzie McGuire movie?
Yeah, exactly.
What was the guy's name? Rodolfo or something like that?
Oh, what is it? I'm disappointed in myself. I've seen it 37 times.
I saw it in the theaters with my grandparents.
Gordo.
Yeah, Gordo, man.
God. I know there was supposed to be a reboot and it didn't happen. I feel bad for old Hill Dog.
It's like yes and no, but I don't know. I just feel like some of these shows, they just, they kind of lost some of the spark that they had in the first run of it. Because I feel like with the new run of it, you know, they're older, things that, you know, the production has changed and the writing is a little bit more watered down. I don't know. I just feel like it's not the same show.
We live in a different world than when those came out. Like, yeah, you gotta just call it something else, at least. Don't recreate that mastery.
Yeah, especially since like a lot of Hollywood movies, they're just making prequels and reboots.
It's so boring, right?
Yeah, I'd much rather watch a travel channel. Speaking of that,
Hey!
going back to what we were talking about. So I'm sure you watched like a lot of Discovery and Travel Channel as well growing up too?
Yeah, I love that. I have like that and the cooking channel.
Okay, that's fair because
all over it.
Well, that's not something I wanted to watch too much because then I just get hungry. But then, as we mentioned before, food is definitely part of the culture of an area.
Totally. And what's fun is like my podcast is about anything travel. And at the beginning, I was asking like, do we need to have more of a niche? That's like, no. Everything involves traveling. Like the activities you do while you're traveling, spa experiences, food, transportation, like rental cars.
Local legends, landmarks.
There's just so many things integrated into that topic. I'm lucky. I can kind of just talk about whatever.
So what's your favorite thing to talk about traveling-wise?
Places I haven't been that I'm just like dying to go to.
So I know we asked one before, but what are some others? So you said Maldives.
That I'd love to go to?
Yeah.
I would love to go to Banff. It just looks like unreal.
So you remember Andrew Sims.
Yeah.
And so he actually did a huge photo thing out there. It's freaking insane.
I can't imagine seeing water that color in real life. And I think I'm about to in Byron Bay in Australia. I'm flying over there to see my girlfriend for New Year's, and then she was like, I've never been there and I'm Australian, let's freaking go. So we're gonna go check it out. And there's like, have you seen these? Like the pink lakes? It looks like Pepto-Bismol. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited. I don't think you can swim in it or get in it, but I'm excited to see it. There are a lot of things like when you take pictures of them, it just doesn't add up, like the moon. Yeah. But like things like the blue water in Banff and like those pink lakes, like those look legit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just to go to those places, just it feels almost unreal, like you're in a watercolor like painting of some sort.
I want in. Where do you want to go?
Me?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where I want to go.
Why not?
I don't know.
You don't have like one place that you've always thought, why the hell haven't I been there yet?
I want to take like a cruise to all the Scandinavian countries. Actually, it's really difficult, but I have Duolingo because my mom never taught me Korean, and I've actually taken a few stabs at, well, they don't have Icelandic on there, but I've taken a stab at Norwegian, Finnish, and Swedish.
Can you say anything?
Let's see. I actually know more Finnish, if anything, but these are very few sentences, but like, yeah, it's hard being put on the spot.
Sorry.
I know that like kukosina olet means you're very nice.
We could do a Babbel episode.
Or Duolingo if they ever sponsor us. Hint, hint, hint.
Hint, hint.
So one thing that I've noticed is that because of the actual ethnicities of people, Finland's a little bit different when it comes to the Scandinavian countries because they mainly derive from a people called the Sami people. Mm. And so Finnish sounds a little bit different from like the rest of like the mainland of Scandinavia.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. I've always found Norse mythology interesting since I was in first grade.
Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Hit me with something.
Okay, I mean, obviously you know Thor from Marvel and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But actually the next chapter of a video game came out recently called Ragnarok, and it basically is...
Like the show.
Oh yeah, there is a show called Ragnarok.
I watched it.
I have not seen it.
It was all in Swedish or whatever.
Probably.
So I watched it with subtitles, but I loved it. You should watch it.
I think I should. But essentially, Ragnarok is the ending of the world in Norse mythology. And so your character's kind of propagating it, but from the other side, because everybody knows it from, like, the Aesir side. You know, Odin, Thor, they are the good guys. And so when Doomsday happens and they both die, I don't know what happens afterwards, but apparently the world is, like, reborn or something like that.
We should look into what happens after.
Yeah, but any last travel tidbits you want to speak? Any tips? Any, fun experiences that you just, cannot stop thinking about? Like, up to this point, what is your most favorite travel experience?
Going to the Daintree rainforest. It's like the most ancient, oldest rainforest in the entire world. And like the biggest water filtration system, like natural water filtration. It's in northern Australia. I know I'm such a hoe for Australia, but I just am. I just want to die there one day. On purpose.
Well, good for you, because every animal is trying to kill you.
Yeah. Oh, that's the truth. When I lived there, like the one time I saw the huntsman spider, which you've heard of that, right? It's like this big, literally. Mm-hmm. I just was sleeping, just open my eyes, just look up. It's just directly above my bed, chilling. They're harmless. They won't do anything, but like quite literally bigger than my head. So that was my only experience with that. But you know what I did?
What?
I called the superintendent and I left the home.
You didn't burn it down?
I was like, you gotta go deal with this shit. He's like, Americans.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't burn it down. So, good for keeping up the structural integrity. And actually, one last question before we move on to the last part. What were some of the fauna that you saw there that you really loved, like the animals?
An echidna is like a porcupine.
But with a very long nose, right?
Right! Oh my god! How do you know that?
I just know random stuff.
What an obscure animal to know.
I mean, there's the platypus, so, I've heard of weirder.
That is weird. But
another Australian animal, now that I think about it.
Yes, most of the cool ones are. Like a Tasmanian devil, that's a real animal.
Oh, yeah. It's not just a cartoon character from Looney Tunes.
Yeah, they real.
Are they tiny and compact?
It kind of looks like a fox.
Okay.
In a way. I saw a bunch of kangaroo. They're actually like absolute pests. You're allowed to like shoot them because they just like take over the crops of the farmland and eat everything and ruin everything.
Have you ever gotten up close to one of those things?
I have. They weren't scary, but I did see that video of the guy putting one in a headlock and they're like punching each other in the face. Pretty fucking crazy. I was like, I'm not getting anywhere near that thing.
Yeah, that's very smart because everyone's like, oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, look at him.
And that's when they end up getting nerfed.
That's when they just get like tail whipped.
Or kicked, which apparently can kill like dingoes chasing after them or something like that.
Dingo ate my baby. You remember that? Oh my gosh. I never saw a dingo. Thank God. I saw a crocodile. I saw like a 25-foot crocodile. Yeah, that's right. Eek. All
right. Well, we're going to take another break, and then we're going to go into the bonus question round. Connor, it's been amazing catching up with you and hearing about your new podcast and your travel experiences. And we're about to find out about more of you as an individual in my favorite part of any Big DK Energy episode, which is the bonus question round. These 10 questions have been handcrafted for you, and you do not know them, but they are appropriate enough where they are fun, and you will have a job afterwards. So, with that being said, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Let's boogie, as my stepmom says.
Let's freaking boogie.
Question number 1. What's a far-fetched, non-travel bucket list item of yours?
Space.
So you want to go to the final frontier. Space.
Like, you can just casually pay to go up into space. Like, if I could get work to pay for that, that'd be sick.
I was going to say, do you want like one of those like SpaceX like 10-minute things, or do you want to go like straight up into the ISS?
We don't need to stay up there, Things could go wrong. Just take me up. Drink a martini, take me down. You'd
have to like drink your martini in an orb, because it'll be floating around you.
It's like a sphere.
Oh no, don't let it get into the hard drive, otherwise we'll all perish. Question number 2. What's one type of food you can eat forever and it won't affect your health, but you must eliminate one type of food forever?
Fajitas. I fucking love fajitas. I could probably eat that. Well, I was like, I could probably eat it I pretty much eat it every day. And then food I could just throw into the abyss and never see again. Oysters. Like, what even? Ugh.
See, it always amazed me what humans thought of thinking, I should put this in my mouth and perhaps swallow it.
Yeah, it's like a loogie, and it just has half the ocean in it. I don't get it.
Well, in White Chicks, apparently, Terry Crews' character says, it's an aphrodisiac.
I love that movie.
Number 3. If you could live in a universe that's based off your favorite holiday, what would it be?
New Year's.
Okay, so what would a New Year's universe look like?
Lots of hope. I just love New Year's. I feel like there are tons of people that like make zero plans and don't really care. And even those people, I've had plenty of New Year's where I sat on the couch at home. Like, it feels good. You wake up the next day and you're like, life mile marker. And there's so many holidays that are so overrated. Like 4th of July, come on. What a letdown.
As much as I love this country, I can agree that wearing American flags every day is a little much.
It's like leading up to it, I get really excited. And then the day of, I'm like dead ass asleep at 10 p.m.
Yeah, it's your right as a citizen to celebrate as
much or little as you want.
There we go. So I could just imagine your universe like having fireworks shows like every single night or something like that.
Exactly, yeah. Like DJs, lots of rooftops involved.
I'm down to party if we could have like an Ibiza like state or something in that world.
Streamers. Let's go.
Number 4, you've been allowed to select your dream lineup for a festival benefiting your favorite charity. Who are the 6 headliners and what's the charity?
I love Sophie Tucker. That's a great band. Let's do Lil Wayne. Like, if I have anyone I want, right?
Anybody. You can even bring people back from the dead.
What? Let's do Snoop. I know he's not dead. That's not what I meant. Let's go Lady Gaga. I really love her.
2 more?
Why is this so hard? Arizona. Such a good artist. I feel like we got to go some like hardcore something. Let's go Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay, there we go.
I went rocker and then
that
ended up there.
Well, that kind of counts because he was on a song for Motley Crue's documentary The Dirt.
Okay, was that not one of the best movies?
I actually haven't seen it, which is ironic because I actually just saw Motley Crue live earlier this year.
Stop. Get on it. You're missing out. Like, the movie was amazing, and I don't really give a shit about that kind of music, and I was like really into that movie.
Fair.
All right. It was great.
I still need to look at it. You're right. But, and what's the charity that you're benefiting?
Let's do something vague but important. Let's do cancer.
Breast cancer awareness?
Sure.
Okay,
yes.
Sweet.
Everyone wears pink, and we all listen to Machine Gun Kelly.
Hey, he wears pink. I know that. Number 5. What's your favorite historical landmark or fact?
Oh, can I pick a whole city as my favorite historical landmark? I freaking love St. Augustine.
Okay.
Like, I've had my last 4 birthdays in St. Augustine. Feels like you're in Europe and you're just like on the coast of Florida.
Well, I guess they did its job because that's exactly what happened.
The oldest city in America, baby.
Number 6, pick your favorite season and make a 5-day itinerary based on that season. Oh, sorry, make a 5-day travel itinerary based on that season.
Ooh. Well, my favorite season is spring, and I feel like that should be like a Tokyo thing. You should go see like cherry blossoms bloom and shit like that, right?
I believe it's in spring, actually. I don't know.
What is their spring? I guess their spring would be like...
No, I think it'd be the same spring as us because we're all in the northern hemisphere. Yeah, because I keep forgetting that Australia's, their seasons are flipped.
Totally, yes. So when I go in December, it's going to be like the middle of summer.
That's so crazy to think about.
So cool. I know, I moved there in August and I was like, it's Australia, it's hot all the time. And I was freezing my ass off and they didn't have heat or anything. I was just like in my apartment like, what the fuck?
Really? I thought it was just hot there all the time.
No, you're wrong.
Well, I'm glad that I'm wrong because now I now am educated. But yes, so what would you do in Japan besides see the cherry blossoms?
Let's spend one day like making Japanese food. I want to learn how to make my own hibachi. Yeah. Like, have you been to like a hot pot place around here?
I've actually never been to any hot pot. I know.
What? There's a place here in Orlando called, adorably, Hotto Potto. We should tear that up.
I'm down, and then we have to find a good Korean place, though, around here.
Okay.
Yeah, because...
You haven't done that already?
I've been to a few places, but, I want to see which is, like, the most legit.
Do a comparison?
Yeah, exactly. So, Tokyo, making your own hibachi, and what else?
What else do you do there?
Nintendo Land, I hear.
Oh? You can, ride little go-karts in the streets?
Not in the streets, but, maybe, like, in that world, and I don't know if they'll allow people to throw turtle shells or not. I'm just saying that would be a great add-on. It's like, yeah, it's $50 per shell. I don't care. Bam!
I don't give a shit. You spend, like, $1,000 that day just throwing turtle shells.
Worth it. Number 7. What's one life lesson that you've learned from your travels?
I feel like not putting too many expectations on something has changed my whole life. Just like go into it assuming everything's gonna just work its way out. Don't plan your itinerary so aggressively and then be absolutely depressed the rest of your trip if something doesn't work out, you know? I've been there and I've done that. And I've been like sad leaving a spot for that reason, which is stupid. Just go and have fun.
I like that. I think I'll take that into my future travels so that I don't have horrible anxiety and just enjoy it.
Yes, see, and everyone has anxiety. Just like go into it letting things like happen, because if it's raining the one day you thought you were going to go to the beach, you're going to like ruin your whole trip. Just go with the flow.
Yeah, find some place local to eat and just go there. Or at least that's what I first think I could think of.
Exactly. There's always fun shit to do in the rain too.
Number 8. If you could collab with 2 other influencers / personalities, celebrities, etc. for a travel miniseries, who would it be with, and what 6 other countries would you visit?
Mr. Beast. Just let me have a private jet, please. And then let's go somewhere like random.
So you have 6 countries to go to.
I would love to go to like Oman or something. Croatia. Isn't Iceland green and Greenland ice?
Yes.
I'd like add them both.
Okay.
And then I can have like a sheep's head and stuff like that. And then Thailand and Morocco.
No Korea? I'm just kidding. Awesome. And then...
Korea is beautiful.
You've been?
No, but like pictures of like the landscape and stuff, insane.
It is beautiful. I will say that.
Have you been?
Yeah, I actually lived there for 6 months. Only because my dad was in the army, so...
No way.
Yeah. Okay, and Mr. Beast, and I said 2, but is there another person that you want to go with?
Cleo Abrams.
Okay, Cleo Abrams and Mr. Beast on quite a worldwide tour.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Number 9. What's the most exotic thing you've eaten?
Nutria rat. That's such a gross answer, but it is the truth.
When did this happen?
Just like growing up in Louisiana, you have to eat weird things because sometimes you just don't know what's in there. And that's what happened to me.
Did you get your first BB gun and that was like the first thing you killed or something like that?
No, I was like literally at a friend's house and I was just eating jambalaya. It was really good. What's in this? And he was like, Nutria rat. It's like, what? And then you see them. I lived by a lake and you would just see them like...
Scamper along.
Do you know what they look like?
Yeah, I do.
They're like fat as shit. Like they look like chubby raccoons. Mm-hmm. And they're just like swimming in the water and like running along the banks. And yeah, they just kind of cook with whatever. And the thing about Louisiana is they can cook with whatever and make it taste like insane. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Food in Louisiana is great. Like I've been to New Orleans and it's good, except I have to eat it while sitting on the toilet.
I think that's most people, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one because I'm just like, this food is fantastic. It's just going right through me.
Everything's just over seasoned and it's not like they'd ever use like, I can't believe it's not butter. Like they would just use 90 sticks of butter.
Oh yeah, and also all that ball seasoning.
Slap your mama.
Slap your mama.
Obey.
Don't get me wrong, Cher. And we're having such a fun time. We're actually at the last question. And it's a question that I ask everybody, but the answers always vary. And the question is, what is your best, most recent accomplishment?
Probably just moving here and this job. Required a lot of like self-confidence for me to just fuck it and move here and like do something that I like. Podcasting is I have to hear the sound of my own voice all the time. It's all very new and it's the most recent thing I've done. And I feel proud of myself because it's kind of scary and I'm just learning as I go and it's going well.
I'm glad to hear that for you, Connor. And unfortunately, we are at the end of the show, but I just want to say thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime, DK.
So, Connor, for coming on to the show today and gracing us about your travel experiences, as well as some tips and giving us a new travel channel to listen to in terms of podcasts. Go check them out, Travel Nerds.
Yes.
That's what I think gives you, Connor, Ann, big DK energy.
Oh, what a win. Thank you.
No problem. So we're going to put all the links in the description box below. And before we head out, is there anything else you want to say or promote?
Travel Nerds Podcast. Anywhere you get your podcasts, follow on TikTok and Instagram at Travel Nerds Pod. And YouTube is just Travel Nerds. You can watch it or listen whenever you want.
Awesome. Well, if that's it, then I'm Danny K, the Big DK Energy Podcast, and we are signing off.